Michael Kanicki. Me and my ex broke up, then got back together 1 week later. We got into an argument again. All right, I'm gonna stop right there. So see, there you go. When you're getting back together, the temptation is, okay, we're gonna sit down and we're gonna go through every issue. We're gonna figure this sucker out. And we're gonna talk through everything and get all the conclusions. And that makes sense until you realize it doesn't make sense. You're already in a situation where there's been a big time strain on the relationship. So now you're going to put even more strain, more pressure, more pain, and think that you're going to be able to come out on the other side of it. It's sort of like someone with a broken leg and deciding it's time for you to start running marathons. There has to be healing first, okay? And that takes a considerable amount of time. And it can be something where if the other person's wanting to discuss it and they're wanting to do that, because a lot of people tend to take that approach, they'll say, okay, we're getting back together, we got to talk about all this. Or it'll just come up like you're having this event where you're getting back together. Say to them, I want to talk about these things, but I want to enjoy being with you and I want us to enjoy being with each other. And let's just do this. We'll talk about one thing and we're going to put a time limit on it. So we don't just, have you ever had these arguments with people? And it's easy to do, okay? Ken and I still have to reel ourselves back from this because we'll do it. But put a time limit on it. I've even, suggested some people to pick your phone up and say, okay, let's do this. They put their phone for 20 minutes, sit it down. And they have intense discussions, respectful but intense. And when that timer goes off, we're done talking about it. We'll resume later. Let's watch a movie. Let's laugh. Let's thank the other person for listening. Because the more negatives you create, the less this person's going to want to be around you. And that's true in marriages and everything else. You just harm yourself. And one example I use quite a bit is there was a married couple who came to me and they were going to marriage counseling, and that was the only interaction they were having because they were separated. And I said, so what happens when you go to marriage counseling together? Well, the counselor, and I like counselors. I have counselors as clients, and nothing against them. Okay. But they're not all created equal. I don't know who this person was, but I'm telling you, I think they handled it incorrectly because when these two got together, the only interaction they had was putting the issues out on the table and they would duke it out. And she said, it's basically like the only time we're together, we have this big emotional fight with someone actually encouraging us to fight more. Yeah. And I said, that is not going to work. I said, if I were you, I'd do this. Tell the counselor, say, we're going to take a break. We'll catch back up with you in 3 or 4 months. And you two take that day where you were having the fights, go have dinner and have a rule. No arguments, no disagreements, unless they're playful, no fighting. We're going to talk positive. We're going to laugh. We're going to have a positive experience together. And we're both going to be dedicated to doing that. And wouldn't you know it, they got back together. I mean, we live in this age where if you have it on your chest, well, my word, you got to get it off your chest. Sometimes, yes. Other times, just let it go. Try to let it go. Fight it. Give it a few days. And if you got to bring it up, and even tell them, I don't want to talk about this long, but I just want to tell you this. And don't go to other topics. Anyway, a little bit of a soapbox, but I'm just telling you, you're in for a world of hurt if you think you got to talk about every problem you have with this person. It's kind of like the airing of grievances on Seinfeld, It's like, I got a lot of problems with you people. Yeah, there's nothing good that can come from that. So to get back to Michael here, so they got in that argument soon after, and 3 days later, she ended it with me again. We broke up because I have trust issues and I was moving too fast. And she said she wants to be friends and isn't ready for a relationship. Okay. So my guess is, Michael, and I don't mean to get on to you here, but it sounds like maybe a lot of that argument was maybe your trust issues, and you were kind of wanting a lot of reassurance, and so you were kind of pushing her to give you that, and you weren't happy with the amount she was giving you. And I'm not defending her. Maybe she wasn't giving you enough at all. But it's a tough situation to be in right after a breakup. It's thin ice. And a lot of it is because of that, because it's like, okay, let's figure this out. That's like the wrong time. You've got to see it as starting over and reattracting this person. So what do you do right now, Mike? She just wants to be friends and isn't ready for a relationship. Well, If you've watched my videos, you know that you can't just outright accept friendship, except sarcastically, and you can't act like a friend. But if she's still interacting with you, which by the way, I do suggest you go into no contact because if she's serious about trying to be friends with you, usually there's still something there and she's not wanting you to get too far away. But if she contacts you, do not act like a friend, except when you two get face to face. That's where you just catch up with her and let her worry you that you're putting her in the friend zone. Because if you accept friendship, she's putting you in the quote friend zone. But if you treat her like a friend, you're putting her in the friend zone. I know it doesn't sound like it's that different, but it really is. I think she's going to contact you. I think you might get another opportunity here. That there's a decent chance if you go into no contact, and this time, do not argue. I know you have trust issues right now, and I can tell you this: one way to rebuild your confidence is to provide great experiences for the two of you, so that you know she's having a good time, uh, and you'll feel more trust because you'll feel like she's more attracted to you. And I'm not saying you don't ever talk about those things, but you have to understand that you're not helping yourself. When you try to make this other person make you feel better about yourself and that that you can trust them and all that, you have to decide if you trust them or not. If you don't, that's a big problem. And you should decide if that's something that's within you or if that's them. So I'm going to stop right there and go to Ken.
No, I like everything you said, and especially about sometimes counseling. And again, and I agree. I don't have anything against counselors, but a lot of times they really focus. Like even recently, there was a client that said, "We've been apart, but we're going to the counselor," and the counselor said, "Write down all the issues, write down all the things that you can't live with." It's like, dear God, that seems like a horrible idea. And you tend to take a combative or at least an opponent view of the other person. Whereas if you actually enjoy each other's company, you kind of naturally have this state of enthusiastic agreement where you're trying to find how to give the other person what they want. Like one of the things that we've recommended in the past that can work well, if you get back together with an ex, as crazy as it sounds, try to have sex every day for 10 days if you're reconnecting, or just some kind of a personal, loving, interactive reassurance that you actually like each other's company. You can deal with problems much easier if you know the person cares about you, loves you, and you actually enjoy each other's company. But if you're constantly in negotiation trying to make sure that they understand what you need, and you got to be clear about it, that's not a recipe for happiness. But it does say good things that even she said she wants to be friends. A lot of times when they say that, and I agree with Lee, you don't want to, I'm going to grab the friendship role. But the fact that she said it means even at that state of mind, she doesn't want you out of her life.
Yeah, and right on with the part about putting this other person as like your adversary, like it's you two are against each other. You need to be on the same side of the table, and you need to find a counselor if you're going to find one who sees it that way. And there's a lot of great ones out there, but just like anything else, I mean, how many people have had experience with a bad doctor who made some bad decisions, um, bad dentist, whatever? I mean, people are flawed, and you want to find the one who's got the gift. All right.